Hi, and welcome to Game and Read. We're back, and it's 2016.
Yes, for our first episode of 2016, we'll be talking about split perspectives with the game Broken Age by Double Fine Studios and the graphic novel comic book Trillium by Jeff Lemire.
I played Broken Age by Double Fine Studios. Double Fine also did Psychonauts, which we talk about in an earlier episode of Game and Read. Broken Age is an adventure game. It's point and click, so I played it on my computer. It follows two characters. They're both kind of teenager age. One is a girl named Vela, and she is getting ready to be sacrificed in a thing called a Maiden's Feast to this giant monster called Mog Chothra. And she's a little skeptical about why everyone's so excited for her to get sacrificed. The other character we meet is Shay, and he is on a really strange spaceship. He's lived on a spaceship his whole entire life. He was born there. He goes on missions like saving his yarn friends from ice cream avalanches and things that are very strange that he always succeeds at. And he's a teenage boy and he's getting a little bored. Why you gotta do these missions? And why does he always win? And why is it always the same every single day? So those are the two characters. The really awesome part of Broken Age and why we chose it for split perspective is that you have these two characters in totally different worlds and settings, and you get to play as both of them. So you can play either one in either order up to a certain extent. So you can go play Vela. I went and played Vela, and then I switched over to Shay, and then back to Vela. You can switch whenever you want during the game, which is really cool. It was a really fun game. I got frustrated at the beginning. This is a theme, me getting frustrated at the games that I'm playing at the beginning. But I got frustrated because I didn't play a ton of point and click games unless you count Putt Putt and Pajama Sam and things like that, which are for children, so they're easy. This is a little more challenging, and so I got really mad at the beginning because there's no direction whatsoever. So I didn't know what to do, and you just got some stuff, and it took me a while to realize you just gotta click on stuff, and you gotta drag stuff to other stuff, and you kind of just gotta
dig into the implications of a puzzle, which aren't always as clear as you would hope they would be.
No, it was hard. Even after I got the hang of it, there were some times where I was like, I have no idea what I'm supposed to be doing right now. So I actually used a walkthrough. I used IGN's spoiler-free walkthrough, which if you are playing Broken Age, it's totally the best walkthrough to do because it gives you hints on how to do stuff without revealing what exactly it is or how it contributes to the storyline, which is really great. It was really challenging. It was really hard at first, but some of the things I really loved about it was the switching back and forth between Shay and Vela is a really cool mechanic, and it's a really creative way of giving this story layers upon layers upon layers. You really see the complexity of the story of Broken Age, the game, and it is woven together, and yet you have two very independent storylines happening. It's really cool. What's a really neat feature is that some information you need for Vela is over with Shay, and some information you need for Shay is over with Vela. So you have to switch back and forth to figure out what you need to do next, or that little piece of information you need to get to the next step, which is a really cool way of giving you the information without shoving it in your face or putting a nice big bow on it saying, here it is. I also really loved all the characters in Broken Age. I thought that Vela and Shay were both fantastic characters. I really loved both of them. I also really liked all the side characters. Broken Age has a lot of side characters in towns and around the world and all these things. And it felt like they were there intentionally. Much like Psychonauts, all the side characters have some degree of some degree of depth to them. They're not just thrown there because they need more bodies or people or things in the background. Everyone has a purpose, everyone has a meaning. You get a little bit of story from everyone, which is a really cool aspect of the game. So I give Broken Age 3.5 out of 5 stars.
Nice. So Erin decided that I would be reading Jeff Lemire's graphic novel Trillium. Originally came out as, I believe, a 6-issue series. And in it, that is a split perspective, just like Broken Age. We are given 2 protagonists who will intertwine throughout the story. We have William, who is in the 1920s. He is British. And we find him exploring the Amazon rainforest, presumably South American jungles, looking for a temple with, hidden treasures, and it's kind of a forbidden temple situation. And we have, Nika, who is in the year 3797, and she is on a distant planet far away from Earth, and she is one of the last surviving human beings. At the time of the book, there's only, a couple thousand human beings left. They are being plagued across the galaxy by this sentient virus that is following them around in the vacuum of space and just killing everybody. She is tasked with trying to figure out how to help cure it using, these native aliens and whatever, medicinals they might have on the planet she's on. And they also have a temple of sorts. And what happens is, throughout the book, Nika and William, their lives suddenly become intertwined despite being, millennia apart, light years apart.
Literal worlds apart.
Yes, they come together into this weird sort of combined destiny. And it's very interesting because it's just, they're both in very desperate times in their life, and they're just somehow intertwining to each other in this weird, non-romantic, but star-crossed people kind of situation. Overall, I think I really liked it. Jeff Lemire, if you haven't read any of his other work like Sweet Tooth or Essex County.
He did Animal Man.
Yeah, he's been the writer for DC Comics for Green Arrow, Animal Man before, but he didn't do the art for those. In the books where he does the art and the words, his art style is very, I like to call it, full of despair. I can't imagine him, illustrating a book that's very bright and happy. It just doesn't really seem to be in his character and the way he draws people in their range of emotions. I think he has a couple of people who are smiling at different points, and it always just feels kind of false, like it's hiding something that's actually a deep sadness. And he's really good about kind of setting the scene of just kind of, extinction is on the verge. Like, you really feel like, oh man, these are the end times for these people. William, the British guy in the 1920s, is dealing with PTSD, having served in World War I, having weird flashbacks, and it's all just very kind of dark. Yeah, it's very intense right off the bat, even before you really get into any of the words. It's just the images can be very strong. So I can't say it's super enjoyable to read all the time. However, it is very powerful to read. It makes you emote. And it is a mark of, goodness in my categories. And I'd say I'd probably give it about a 4-star. I didn't get really in depth with my story there just because I didn't want to spoil it if you end up reading it. I would highly suggest reading something by Jeff Lemire, especially this if you've played Broken Age, as we were about to talk about how we think they went well together.
We thought that this is a really good pairing for a number of reasons. One being both medias have a male and a female character, and both present these two characters in a way that their destinies are intertwined with each other, but a romantic relationship is not at the center of either of these, which is really great. I think that it would have been really easy for either Broken Age or Trillium to fall into their whatever and their romance and all this lovey-dovey
And if you really want to read it that way, you probably could. However, the amount of explicit info on like the destined for each other kind of way is not really there unless you're really looking for like, yeah, these two people have to be in love, of course.
It's more that they need each other in the sense that, like we said, their destinies are interwoven.
Yep.
That one can't succeed without the other, but in a very powerfully non-romantic way.
Yeah.
Which was really refreshing, again, because
it's so easy to fall into that trope of main man, main lady. Oh, of course they're going to get together. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it didn't happen here, so that was nice. One thing that I really thought brought them together was that in Broken Age, Erin mentioned that you switch back and forth between the two, and it's very similar in Trillium, where, it's one chapter of, Nika, one chapter of William, and then in one of the middle issues, I think it's issue 4, where it's Nika's story and William's story, but what happens is you read Nika's up on the top, and it's going all the way through, and then you flip the whole book upside down and you read William's. So if you look down at the bottom of the first page where you're reading Nika, you see the end of William's story. So don't look down if you're reading it. I almost messed it up for myself because I thought I had to read them at the same time. But it's really it's kind of the best interpretation I can see in a comic book sense of kind of that switching back and forth, other than just here's their
chapter
part,
1,
and then
chapter
there's
2.
It's really a cool looking page when it didn't have to be done that way. So props to Jeff Lemire for doing that.
One major difference we did find is in the tone and the audience of Broken Age and Trillium. As Peter mentioned, Trillium is really intense. It is really heavy. The art style is really heavy. The story is really heavy. It's definitely intended for, I think, an older reader.
No younger than high school.
No, definitely a lot of powerful emotions, a lot of sadness and anger, some violence.
Yeah.
And you get that dark feeling when you read Trillium.
I don't think I could have handled it too well until, I don't know, when I was older, high school at least.
Yeah. And on the flip side, you have Broken Age, which, while there are some jokes and commentary that are more adult, think Psychonauts, where some of it, or Shrek, where like there are jokes for adults that really adults
Have we
get.
brought up Shrek before?
Yeah, I think when we talk
Everything
about
is like
Psychonauts.
Shrek, guys. That's the whole point of this podcast.
Game and read
Shrek
equals
the
Shrek.
podcastical.
But there are jokes that are like an older audience is going to be the ones who chuckle or who laugh.
Yeah.
However, Broken Age in the tone and in the art, I think, is a lot more lighthearted, a lot more comedic, definitely intended for many ages. It's not
Later
just
elementary probably would be a good starting point.
Yeah, it's enjoyable by both 10-year-olds and 24-year-olds and 30-year-olds and 50-year-olds. It's got a much wider audience, I think, than Trillium does.
Yeah.
Just in its approach to these same sort of. I mean, there's some isolation and sadness
it's really
and anger
more approachable than, say, Trillium. Trillium, it's kind of dark. It's a comic book, which a lot of people will have stigmas about. Whereas Broken Age, if you play games, it's like, this looks happy enough, cute enough. Why not give it a try? Has a good pedigree behind it.
Yeah. So, but overall, they paired really well together.
Yes, I think this is one of our more spot-on ones. They were both developed around the same time. Trillium was coming out probably, I think it was 2012 or 2013. So. Broken Age came out 2013, I believe. It was just cool to see these two things come out so close, and they really pair well together.
Yeah, so if you have played Broken Age and haven't read Trillium, or if you've read Trillium but haven't played Broken Age, or if you haven't done either,
do both.
Go do both of them together.
They'll take you, I'm going to say, a combined time of 15 hours, tops.
Yeah, sounds about right. So,
That's if you're playing really slow and reading really slow. But you can see all of our other videos at gameandread.com along with our other content, and you can also follow us on Twitter. My Twitter handle is @nerdintheworld.
And you can find me on Twitter @emerch.
Thanks for watching.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.